We probably all know the old adage that it's less costly to keep a customer than to find a new one. But in this present age of uncertainty, possible lack of trust, and sheer aggressiveness by competitors, coming at all our customers from all angles, that best customer retention may seem to many to be an insurmountable challenge. Welcome to this BVTV Trilogy, coming to you from the UK Studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. My guest is helping businesses achieve outstanding results with their customer engagement by using real science and, sorry about this, no sleazy gimmicks. Let's meet Dr. Matthew Champagne. Hello, Doc Matt.
Hey, Malcolm, great to see you. Thanks for the invite.
Well, and you're in one of my favorite cities of the world, Atlanta. It's an exciting city, isn't it?
It is. Most people travel through Atlanta. Not too many people stop in Atlanta as you've done. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I had to stop for a bit of the Gone with the Wind, you know. Matt, let's get started with you laying the foundations of customer retention and engagement success. So what's the Doc Champagne's methodology for achieving great results, and why is it needed?
Well, I've been at this for more than 25 years, and you're right, it is needed, probably needed more now than ever. Yeah, you mentioned that about the cost of keeping a new customer versus an existing customer, and that's so true, and it's so widely ignored. No one ever asks us for our advice as a customer, as a client, as a member, as a patient, but they're always asked for our feedback. Please take 10 minutes of your time to help me improve my products and services. Like, why would you do that? Where's the what's in it for me? The course is over, the vacation's over, the conference is over, and then you ask me how to improve it for next time for somebody else? Like, why would we do that? We're never given what we really want, which is, I call them the 3 universal needs. People want to know that their voice was heard, what they said made a difference, made an impact, and they want to know how they compare to others. And when you do this, it creates this gravitational pull on your people and keeps them focused on you. Keep your customers forever. That's my motto.
Yeah, I must admit to agreeing with you. I was once in a place called McDonald's. I don't know if you've heard of them, and they had a feedback form there. And you know, you could only fill it in if you told them how wonderful you were, because they'd phrased it in such a way. Well, they weren't wonderful, you know. So I had to scribble all over it to be able to get, goodness knows what they'd done. They probably just chucked it away because it didn't go into their we're good people box. But don't you think that people don't, as you quite rightly say, they don't seek true feedback. They don't seek true information from the customers. They just want the information that's going to make them glow.
Yes. And I mean, there's many problems with surveys, as we know. That's a big one. One of the many is it's always done as this one-time event, you know, and we always asked, as I said, after the event, after the conference, after your meal at McDonald's. We call that the autopsy approach. You wait till the event is over to figure out what went wrong. Totally not what you want to do to keep your people forever. Your members, your customers, your clients, is to have a conversation with them. So we call it survey conversation. That's the what's in it for me, for your people, is asking them while it matters, asking for their advice, and then letting them know that you heard what they had to say, how you applied it, and then you create something very magical. People want to provide you more advice because you've given them those needs, that their voice was heard and what they said made a difference. That's what's missing.
Yeah, but I've been in the travel and hospitality business like you've been. I've done 50 years in it, and I started working for a company called Thompson Holidays, who still have the longest, now part of TUI, still the longest running customer feedback survey in the world, and they live by it. But I've worked with other businesses that would say, "Oh, we can't do it that way because if the boss sees that, he'll get upset." Now, surely there's a lack of leadership here in survey. Because if that's what the people are thinking, then obviously that's the impression that the leaders are giving them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that brings up the second big problem is these surveys are, I mean, it's some tough love I have to give organizations to tell them, look, your survey's poor. And I've reviewed and critiqued about 9,000 surveys, evaluation forms, quizzes, assessments over the last 30 years, I could literally count on two hands the number that were done well. That is, when I looked at the results, I said, yes, this is interpretable, meaningful. I really know what's going on in their heads. Almost never happens because the questions are poorly designed. And that's just because there's so much involved in surveys. People just don't realize the psychometrics involved and all the, there's a lot of math involved with surveys, but people just ask questions, or in the case that you gave a moment ago, they ask the same questions because it's their measure and it hasn't been modified in a long time. There's just a lot of problems with the structure of how we're asking those questions.
Yeah. So it's my personal belief, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that companies really don't know what is happening within their businesses at this moment in time, particularly at this moment in time, because they're not properly engaged with their customers. They haven't properly engaged with them. As you quite rightly say, they just say, just tell us how good we are. But surely at this particular time, this uncertainty that we've got in the whole world at the moment there, customers are vulnerable and companies are vulnerable to losing those customers as well. Surely leaders should be starting to ask questions. If you agree, what questions should the leaders be asking?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, we're the ones, as a customer, we're the ones that could help this business. And we all have our favorite restaurant, favorite hotel, favorite place. And we're like, we want you to stay around. We want you to be here forever. We want you to get better. But you never ask us, or you ask questions when it's too late. That's what they need to do, is they need to ask the people that can help them most, their employees, their customers, their patients, do it in the right way and make it a conversation. So I think the content of the question is important. More important is asking it frequently and then sharing the results. So if the question you're asking your audience is, how could we do this better next time? Or what's one thing that you liked about, the service today? That's a great question, but you need to, what I call, close the loop. You need to share some results with them to let them know that it was important. Why would they even bother to answer you? That's really the hurdle we have to get over, because we're just surveyed daily. We all know it goes in a file drawer. Nobody looks at it. You need to prove to your people by sharing some results back to them quickly that you heard what they said. That will get their attention. And now they'll start providing more honest feedback that you really need.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thanks, Matt. Now, let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's dot Matthew, with two T's in there, MatthewChampagne.com. And I'm sure you can spell champagne. I got stuck at Prosecco, Matt's book is called The Survey Playbook, and it's available at Amazon and on Kindle. There's so much I want to ask Matt. I'm struggling to fit it into the one trilogy. But in episode 2, I want to ask him to take us on a brief dip into his 9 principles of customer feedback. And then in episode 3, to chat with him about engaging customers in today's altered selling and buying world. So are you up for that, Matt?
I sure am. Can't wait.